Hello friends, welcome to Moments of Rage channel. Today we will review together the natural disasters of storms, floods and tsunamis that have caused serious damage around the world. The images and stories below will show us more clearly about the harshness of nature and the importance of protecting the environment to prevent these disasters. A ship of hundreds of tons, seemingly invincible, is now being swayed by a strong wind like a small leaf in the vast ocean. Can the captain and his team bring the boat back? Arrive safely or not? A brave woman is struggling against an unruly door in a strong wind. It's like participating in a wrestling match with your sister. The house has just been attacked by a strong wind combined with heavy rain. What an unbelievable sight. Furniture flew everywhere, like a circus show without admission. A gas station just experienced a big storm that caused the roof to collapse. Looking at this scene, I couldn't help but think of a giant umbrella blown into the sky by the wind and then falling to the ground. Fortunately, no one was injured. These signal lights were flying in the wind and suddenly fell down. Luckily, no one was passing by at this time. The wall suddenly collapsed due to strong winds, creating an unprecedented scene of chaos. People ran away in panic like ants in a flood. Everything around them was ruined. The dark clouds, as if an army was approaching, made everyone excited and unable to take their eyes off. Don't forget to find a safe shelter before the rain falls. Imagine, a brave man dared to film a giant tornado up close. With winds so strong that they can almost blow everything around, this tornado is like a giant monster roaming the middle of nature. Indeed, he seemed like he was acting in a thrilling action movie scene, but at the same time brought us unforgettable moments of humor. A huge explosion at a chemical factory caused many buildings to crumble. Luckily for these girls, they were aware of the danger and found a safe place. It was only a few seconds too late. I didn't even think about it anymore. Amid the heat like a pan of fire, suddenly a dust tornado appeared, as if nature wanted to have fun with the workers. The tornado is small, but no less majestic. A strong storm coming from the East Sea hit China. This storm is so strong that the wind makes pedestrians unable to move, feeling like they are blown away like autumn leaves. The street turned into a chaotic picture with people being pushed back by the wind, only able to keep their balance by holding onto light poles, and the electrical system was completely destroyed. This image brings worry to every beachgoer, so stay away from them. A giant rock weighing up to 100 tons suddenly collapsed to the ground. What if it hits someone? Perhaps it will be a scene like King Kong stumbling or Godzilla falling on his face. Luckily, no one was injured. The house was swallowed by the floodwater. The floodwater rushed like a ferocious dragon, not hesitating to swallow the poor house. A huge rock, a ton, suddenly fell onto the road just as a car passed by. Luckily, the rock didn't fall on the car. If there is a word of thanks, this car should definitely thank God for protection. Before our eyes, the dry canal, which was as peaceful as a fishing village girl, suddenly turned into a fast-flowing waterfall. The water rushed, carrying piles of dry wood like ice cream cones dropped from the hands of a playful child. Today we travel to Sweden to witness an unbelievable sight. Cars are like small boats swept away by floodwaters. If these cars could talk, they would certainly lament, "Someone save me, I can't swim." Ladies and gentlemen, It is true that the fate of a house near the riverbank is like a paper boat in a heavy rain. When the flood came, that house could not withstand the force of the water and was swept away like a tiny toy in a naughty child's bathtub. A children's play area was suddenly attacked by a tornado, causing the roof to fall like a joke of nature. But fortunately, the children were brought safely into the house before that. A roof of a residential house being blown away by the wind was recorded by the camera. Solid houses over time have collapsed right before our eyes to be replaced by other buildings. A commuter bridge has just been completely destroyed by a flash flood and rock slide. Hopefully, local people will soon receive help to overcome the consequences and rebuild a new, more solid bridge to overcome all natural challenges. A seemingly sturdy dam has now surrendered to the enormous pressure of the water flow. The wall is no different from a cracker submerged in a giant glass of milk. This person is probably practicing parachuting. A sudden earthquake visited a car parking garage, shaking the ground. The car seemed to dance to the rhythm of heaven and earth. This tornado swept away a person's property far away. The power of nature was terrible. We are witnessing a rare scene as this brave man uses his energy to confront the approaching tornado. A strange and mysterious phenomenon. Thousands of black crows suddenly landed on the streets of China, as if they were holding a meeting of the Global Crow Society. Is this a prophetic sign from nature about an upcoming earthquake? Recently, a strong tornado turned a factory in Indonesia into a version of a giant microwave oven, blowing the entire roof high, leaving behind a lone horse scene with people. The machine is lonely and alone. Humans are always in awe of its boundless power. A tornado formed in a market. The tornado was small but powerful. A two-story house suddenly collapsed before a fierce flood. A car had a landslide and fell into the abyss, but miraculously no one was in the car. Perhaps this car wanted to try its hand at the role of an off-road vehicle, but chose the wrong time. The tragic scene appearing before our eyes is a poor countryside in Africa, where natural disasters struck like a punch from an angry Mother Nature. After the terrible landslide, many people here were injured and lost their homes. It was a horrifying scene for those who witnessed a bolt of lightning strike a nearby house a few feet away. An avalanche occurred, causing many skiers to fall like marshmallows into a bowl of white powder. But fortunately, everyone is safe, without a scratch. A man is excitedly skiing, enjoying every moment of freedom amid the blue sky and white snow. Suddenly an avalanche came, like a giant cloud that decided to play with him. Result? He was buried under a thick layer of snow. A snowstorm hit the southern United States, turning the roads into vast white carpets. Imagine, the whole city seemed to be frozen. People here had to move at full capacity, right? Is a chilling challenge. The convoys on the road today look like a team of professional ballet dancers, only instead of dancing on a wooden floor, they are performing on a snow-slicked ice stage. as the cars glide like unmanned boats. A truck was suddenly teased by the wind, swaying like it was dancing ballet on stage. Fortunately, our driver is a true driving artist, who quickly controlled the situation and kept his iron horse steady to avoid an accident. A sandstorm was approaching with almost zero visibility. The continuous formation of dust tornadoes is attributed to the pyramid positioning. Large fires at a slight angle can create strong winds that are blown in at just the right angle to rotate air columns. When combined with hot air rising naturally from ground forms, the phenomenon observed here. A giant rock fell from a height of hundreds of meters to the ground. The climbers certainly had a heart attack, perhaps even thinking they were in a scene from Indiana Jones. The rock was so big that if it could talk, it would probably say, "Sorry, I didn't mean it." Today we bring unfortunate news from the peaceful countryside. A giant avalanche suddenly landed and buried the whole village like a white wave. People here are currently having to play an unwanted game of hide and seek with nature. Casualties have been recorded, and we hope that they will soon find the light at the end of the tunnel. Looking at the property being swept away by the water, I felt pity. A brave man jumped into a black hole at the bottom of the sea, which, according to rumors, was the portal to hell. Who would he meet down there? The devil or the monstrous fish? Who knows? I would certainly never be brave enough to try that. How about you? A sinkhole suddenly appeared, swallowing the ill-fated motorbike like a bloodthirsty monster in an action movie. Layers of white snow, weighing a ton, fell from the roof like a giant wave, freeing the house from the crushing weight of winter. When suddenly the snow disappeared, and the house felt as light as if it had just been restored. Remove a thick coat. Come fly with me to southern Peru, where the towering 6,000-meter Sabancaya volcano has awakened and shot a column of smoke and ash 3,500 meters into the sky. Honestly, this volcano is like a performance spectacular fireworks, only this fireworks is hot lava. The scene of a volcanic eruption, where towering columns of ash and smoke resemble giant raging beasts attacking surrounding villages. As each wave of dust and smoke poured down as if it wanted to swallow everything in sight. It's unimaginable. But we witnessed the most breathtaking and thrilling moments. The terrifying scene when a tsunami suddenly attacked this peaceful village in Japan. The waves were like giant monsters, sweeping away everything in their path. People, in panic, could not bring their property in time, so they could only stand and watch helplessly. Looking at this scene, we humans are so small, no different than tiny leaves swept away by strong currents. Strong. Looking at the cars and boats swept out to sea by the tsunami, I couldn't help but feel sorry for the people here. We all know, a normal car entering the sea is like a duck lost in the forest, completely lost and hopeless. A column of water suddenly erupted from the underground stream, reaching up to a meter high as if it wanted to reach the sky. The scene of a terrible landslide in Japan. You won't believe it. The whole house was like a small paper boat, swept away by a giant mud flow, floating. Luckily, everyone in the house was safe. No one was injured. The scene of an underground water erupting caused the ground to explode, causing many places to be flooded. While brave, or rather reckless men when toying with Mother Nature, fierce floodwaters suddenly came. These guys were swept away in the rolling waves. But fortunately, thanks to the god of luck accompanying them, they narrowly escaped danger. Have you ever seen snow falling from the roof of a high-rise building like hail? That's right, I'm talking about that scene. Looking at the damaged cars makes my heart pound, like I'm watching an action movie. Everyone, remember to stay away from the edges of the houses. I'm standing here in the middle of heavy rain and historic flooding in China. The water was so deep that we had to use a boat instead of a taxi. Standing in the middle of this sea of water, I felt like I was participating in an Asian version of the movie Titanic. The dolphins are dancing on the water like professional ballerinas, with graceful flips and impressive juggling. Really, if there were an Oscar for marine creatures, these dolphins would definitely win. An avalanche just happened. Columns of white snow poured down like a cold tsunami, washing away everything in its path. But fortunately, no one in the climbing group was injured. They were protected by the gods of luck. A flash flood rushed like an angry dragon, sweeping tons of dry firewood into the river. The firewood logs rolled and rotated as if performing a natural ballet. Half of the mountain, for some reason, fell loudly into the lake, creating a loud explosion. The peaceful lake suddenly became a stage for a majestic performance of nature. Lightning ripped through the night sky, illuminating the entire sky as if Thor was angry. The rumbling sound of thunder was no less terrifying. A brilliant yellow cloud appeared shaped like an alien spaceship. Honestly, I don't know if E.T. are saying hello or not. Imagine, lakes of methane gas igniting when ignited, like a natural fireworks party in the middle of winter. Who would have thought that ice lakes could also burn, right? Currently, I am standing in the middle of a vast sea of water in the heart of Germany. Heavy rain has turned the streets into tangled canals, like a faulty version of Venice. A record rainstorm right in the heart of the Dubai desert. It seemed like a white sand paradise had turned into a flooded ocean overnight. The streets that were sparkling with lights were now filled with water, as if Dubai had combined several years of showers into this one special evening. A huge sandstorm, and the scene was truly unbelievable. Sand flew everywhere, as if someone had just started a giant blender filled with sand. Can't see anything. Billions of grasshoppers flew like dark clouds across the sky, turning the whole land into a free buffet. These men turned the locust plague into a unique culinary opportunity. Look at this scene. What if they fly in and cling to you? Thousands of birds, with graceful dances, are taking off to say goodbye to this beloved land to prepare for their migration journey. Before our eyes, a 1,000-ton boat is swaying like a dancer on stage. Does anyone think that a giant boat can dance and spin like that? The strong winds seem to want to test the boat's strength. A powerful storm is approaching with huge black clouds, accompanied by lightning flashes, like the fangs of a ferocious beast from the sea. Looking at this scene, I can only exclaim, "Dear ladies and gentlemen, don't hesitate any longer. Quickly find a safe shelter." Welcome to the football practice field, where a mini tornado just happened, but the power is not mini at all. Blew the sunshade away like a piece of paper in the wind. The onlookers couldn't help but gasp. Cars weighing a ton were also gently blown away. What a miracle of nature! From harsh disasters, nature has gifted us with mysterious and enchanting beautiful scenes. 7 rainbow-colored clouds, just like a fairy painting appearing before your eyes. I felt like an astronaut who had just landed on the moon when I witnessed this total solar eclipse. Indeed, this is a wonderful moment, as rare as winning the lottery. Not everyone has the opportunity to see it with their own eyes. At the amusement park, a landslide like something out of a Hollywood action movie was collapsing, causing people to run like a beehive. Luckily, no one was injured. Cannot believe my eyes. Tons of snow fell from the roof like rain, creating a scene never before seen in this factory. It seemed like we were witnessing a top art performance by The strong wind blew a spinning game reel at a speed that seemed to break a Guinness record. I don't dare imagine what it would be like if someone sat on it. The spindle was like a giant washing machine, spinning blindly in the sky. Huge icebergs have drifted here, combining to form a great ice wall like a medieval citadel. A wall of ice so large that it could rival the Great Wall of China. If we added some vanilla ice cream and chocolate, we could definitely turn this place into an ice buffet. A giant block of ice suddenly crashed into the water, creating a powerful wave. The water splashed, and the waves crashed against the shore so strongly that many people ran away in panic. A day that will certainly be unforgettable for all of us. A small boat carrying tourists was hit by strong winds that prevented it from continuing its journey. The tourists on the boat were like passengers of the Titanic. Fortunately, there was no iceberg. Tonight on the Pescara coast, we are witnessing a spectacle. Huge clouds seem to be lumbering towards the shore, covering the sky, as if God was deciding to change the television channel. I was standing at the shelter, Capana Ghiaiuto, on top of Marmolada. From afar, I saw a white wave coming like the wrath of the snow god. An avalanche suddenly fell like a waterfall, creating a scene that was both horrifying and heartbreakingly beautiful. I was standing at the scene where a tornado had horribly devastated Minnesota. This tornado was like a giant monster roaring towards us and just a few steps away from us. Everyone was stunned, couldn't believe their eyes. Oh my God. The rippling clouds in the sky of Lincoln, Nebraska, not only turned the sky into a majestic picture, but also made me feel like I was participating in a concert of nature. These brave people decided to face the terrible power of jet engines. Standing right behind the tail of a giant steel monster, they are like warriors fighting against a natural storm. This scene is like a battle between humans and the wind god. Courageous men are standing firm against storm winds of up to 120 km/h on the beach dike. The wind blew strongly as if it wanted to lift them up, but they still stubbornly held on. From the towering mountaintop, an avalanche roared down like nature's fury, sweeping away the entire forest and covering the entire landscape white. It feels like I'm standing in the middle of a giant white snow stage. A rare tornado visited Montebello, California. Houses and trees seemed to be playing an adventurous game, flying everywhere. Luckily, I was able to hide under the table. Otherwise, I would have been swept away. Rare sight of a volcano erupting. A village covered in white snow, as if someone had turned this place into a giant, soft and white cake. The clouds in the sky are not just the usual white cotton balls. but they are like giant marbles floating in the air. A tree fell right after the car passed. Luckily, the driver was unharmed. The rare event of a sponge tornado in Saquarema, Brazil, is truly a strange and magical experience. See sandstorms as a chaotic universe of sand and wind, sand tornadoes as crazy dances of nature. It's a magical, yet terrifying experience. But if you're lucky, I saw a Madurai covered with toxic white foam. The stench from Belander Lake spread throughout the streets as a warning about the neglect and pollution caused by humans. The storm is like a crazy dancer. The trees whisper in the wind like participants in a performance with nature's free symphony. A lovely house is covered by black mud after a terrible volcanic eruption. Not only was there mud, but also smoke, like a dark party of nature. Fortunately, no one was injured. But no one wants to be a mud porridge victim next time. Standing on the porch, I witnessed a fierce wind blowing, causing everything to fly away. But the most notable thing is that the chickens still calmly eat rice, as if they didn't know anything. A dust tornado turned this small training ground into a natural arena. Maize cover flew away, and I, like a reluctant MC, witnessed this strange scene. Everyone looked like professional football players, chasing flying pieces of paper. An unforgettable experience. Hail suddenly reappeared and turned the street into a mini glacier. The atmosphere is really cool and strange. Surely this is one of the rare times that you will see people swimming right in the middle of town. It's truly like in a painting. The mountains curl like sleeping dragons in the clouds. What happened to the Snow White River? Instead of natural essences, we witness polluted bubbles and tangles from chemical reactions. We need to take immediate action to protect the environment and preserve the inherent natural beauty. The unexpected migration of kangaroos in the white snow is very special. And majesty, but also an endless treasure. End of mystical stories. Terrifying ocean storms are formed from the interaction of climate and pressure. They create howling winds and fierce waves. A dark cloud appeared far out at sea, bringing with it brilliant flashes of lightning. The thunder sounded like it challenged all nature. Surprised by the deafening explosions of thunder, the space shook under the terrible sound, as if it wanted to rip the sky apart. Lightning flashes reflected on the sea surface, creating a magical but dangerous scene. The scene of a giant tornado rolling from a distance, gradually approaching the coast. Water columns hundreds of meters high look like rising monsters, carrying everything in their path. Herds of wild horses seem to be running away from the tornado. And the horses rushed away in panic, their eyes filled with fear and determination to escape danger. Tourists had a dramatic experience when they encountered a giant anaconda, exclaimed one tourist, amazed by the creature's size and grace. Adult anaconda can be more than 10 meters long and weigh up to 551 pounds. A memorable meeting, leaving a deep impression on all. You can't imagine. I just witnessed a crazy tornado, like an angry dragon destroying everything in its path. It looked like Thor was angry and throwing his hammer around. The streets turned into battlefields. Trees were uprooted like someone pulling out weeds. I ran and recorded videos, feeling like I was participating in an action movie, not real life. How terrifying. When the earthquake occurred, the store and classroom shook violently. Everything around me was falling apart, and people were screaming in panic. I just hugged the table tightly and prayed. It was a terrible experience to be caught in the middle of a fierce hailstorm. The resounding sound was like the roar of thunder, making me really scared. The stones hitting the car made scary noises. It was truly a terrifying moment. I will never forget it. The horrifying scene when a tsunami suddenly hit this beach. It all happened so fast. Everyone was having fun when suddenly the seawater receded and a giant wave came. Chairs, umbrellas, and even people were swept away in the fierce current. I couldn't believe what was happening before my eyes. Waves tens of meters high crashed onto the shore, strong and devastating to everything. The wind howled, the rain poured down, turning the surrounding landscape into a picture of desolation. Have you been through a storm like this? The water whirlpools on the surface of the lake appear like hungry, ferocious, and uncontrollable beasts, swirling strongly, creating terrifying sounds and sucking everything into their hearts. In just a few seconds, a small boat was completely swallowed, leaving no trace. I don't know when it's my turn to be caught up in that death spiral. This is a warning to everyone. Be careful when navigating these dangerous waters. It's like a cow eating lush green grass. I never thought I would witness such a strange scene. Amidst the fierce sea of fire, a fire tornado suddenly formed, swirling like a giant column of fire from hell. The fire was as red as blood, dancing wildly. You are a person who likes strong feelings. This is a game that you should try. That's just you. I don't dare. This scene is no different from nature trying to practice being a magician performing the water flying backwards trick. The wind blows like a large hairdryer, and the water drops are like small umbrellas trying to fly towards the clouds. Our boat had just passed by when hundreds of fish suddenly went crazy, jumping up and down on the water surface like individual ballet dancers. Without stopping there, many fish enthusiastically jumped straight onto the boat, freeing themselves. Vow to be our dinner without needing a single fishing rod. Thousands of bad fish are lying in the sun on the sand like a BBQ party of a prehistoric lizard house. I wonder what if I accidentally fall into it. Maybe I will become ugly fish salad without the need for cutlery. I have just stepped into a beautiful place like in a dream, steep cliffs hand-carved by Mother Nature. Truly an ideal place for those who want to escape from everyday life, to travel and, well, go on dates. You know, when you sit sipping a cup of coffee near the train tracks in Vietnam, it feels like you're starring in a Hollywood action movie. Every time the train passes by, your heart beats faster than the train whistle. It's a coffee cafe experience, full of emotions and a little thrill. These guys aren't superheroes, but they climbed onto a 1,000-ton ship as easily as climbing the stairs at home. Every time they hung on me, I thought I was watching Spider-Man flying in the middle of the sky. Today I witnessed a magical phenomenon that seemed like something out of a sci-fi movie. The sea surface, yes, that immense sea, suddenly divided into two distinct colors. One side is blue, the other is gray. Maybe the ocean decides to wear a different outfit every day to suit its mood. It's true that the sea also knows how to make people's hearts flutter, right? Please comment your opinion below the video. Huge icebergs like something out of a sci-fi movie have curled up like icy dragons lost in the sea. Huge icebergs like something out of a sci-fi movie have curled up like icy dragons lost in the sea. These penguins really know how to make everyone laugh with their clumsy yet graceful jumps. It's a show not to be missed. In just a blink of an eye, the house was swept away by the flood like cleaning the house with my mother's magic broom. Suddenly, an avalanche suddenly crashed down like hail from the sky. The scene looked as if someone had just dumped a giant bucket of vanilla ice cream down the mountain. I screamed in panic. Oh, everyone, how lucky this guy is. If he had fallen into that hole, he would have become a legend in the underground world by now. I'm sorry this person wasn't so lucky. The recent earthquake was like a battle between nature and humans. The ground shook like a sudden salsa dance, turning the streets into battlefields and houses collapsing like dominoes. Indeed, nature is not always pleasant. A miserable house was violently attacked by floodwaters. The wall could not withstand the pressure and collapsed, allowing water to rush in like a flash flood. Furniture in the house was submerged in water and floating. Waves tens of meters high, like the fury of the sea, rushed violently to the shore. People play on the sand like little ants before the boundless power of nature. It is truly a free performance from Mother Nature, but no one wants to be the main actor in the full performance. This drama and surprise. A column of dust and smoke hundreds of meters high erupted, looking like a giant snake waking up. The climbers around were all running away in panic, as if they were in a dramatic action movie scene. The train rushed on the white snowy road. Snow flew to both sides like invisible arms, strong and fierce like a legendary dragon rising. Just for a moment, I felt like I was standing in front of a real majestic snow dragon. And unstoppable. An unforgettable experience. Unforgettable scene at Shamus. A terrible landslide created a huge mud flow, and huge boulders swept through a canal and collapsed onto the main road. Like a scene from Fast and Furious. A terrifying tornado suddenly appeared, like a crazy monster with incredibly strong winds. The wind whistled, like the roar of an ancient dragon, blowing away everything in its path. Trees tilted, houses shook. After a terrible storm, a miracle happened. When the rain stopped falling, a brilliant rainbow appeared in the sky, like a promise of better days. I was at the scene of a scary flash flood in Switzerland, where mud not only flew up but also scattered like holiday fireworks. This scene is no different from a street art performance. Huge rocks fell from the sky, as if a giant baseball team was competing to hit the old tree. The poor tree is like a beaten boxer. The leaves are falling, the branches are broken, leaving only a spindly skeleton. But one thing is certain. This is a day when the trees are here. We'll remember forever. Looking back from afar, the scene is no different from a thrilling action movie with fierce water currents sweeping away everything in its path. Sometimes, I feel like I'm watching a nature swimming obstacle course, just missing the starting whistle. We witness a magical and terrifying scene when giant waterspouts suck water from the sea surface, creating towering columns of water like giant water dragons. Just imagine, if you get caught up in it, it will definitely feel like being on a roller coaster, straight into the gates of heaven. The water columns swirled, taking everything into a crazy spin. I am witnessing a wonderful performance like a festival of nature. The starlings are flying in the sky like talented dancers. The birds fly back and forth, as if rehearsing for a grand dance performance, just to perform for us before they begin to perform. Migration to avoid cold winters. We were standing in the midst of the unbelievable scene that the attacking tornadoes had left behind. Not unlike something out of a dramatic action movie, these tornadoes crashed into the town like gladiators, not missing a single house, tree, or sign in their path. A terrible sea storm. Dense dark clouds covered the sky, like a giant blanket blocking all light. Lightning flashed, like the swords of an angry Zeus, slashing across the sea. The storm was like a ferocious monster, with winds as strong as an angry elephant, blowing away everything in its path. Trees tilted and fell like drunk people after a long night of partying. Rain falls like nature's tears, flowing endlessly. Please run quickly if you fall into this situation. Today, we will talk about an unforgettable moment when witnessing a terrifying avalanche. Imagine a Lamborghini rushing down a hill at high speed, snow flying everywhere as if the Monte Carlo racetrack was covered with white snowflakes. But don't panic, because right after that, a brilliant rainbow appeared, like a beautiful picture from nature. What an unbelievable sight we just witnessed! A ferocious waterspout emerged from hell, suddenly attacking a small boat. The boat rotated and bobbed like a leaf in the middle of a tornado. Luckily, no one was injured. A convoy was hit by a tornado with strong winds that made it impossible for the vehicles to move. The seemingly eternal mountains suddenly collapsed, like a Hollywood blockbuster action movie. But instead of Bruce Willis saving the world, we just get mud and rock slides. It feels like nature is angry and decided to vent all its dissatisfaction on us. A giant block of ice, as big as a skyscraper, collapsed with a roar like thunder. The giant block of ice, like a drunken giant, staggered and collapsed, causing a tremor, not only underwater, but also in the hearts of viewers. I'm standing here under huge clouds, looking like a giant alien spaceship. This scene makes me feel like the end of the world has come. I swear if an alien came out of these clouds and said hello to us, I wouldn't be surprised. The flood scene in China this time is truly a performance of Mother Nature. What an unexpected parade! Houses, cars, and even personal belongings floated along the water as if they were participating in a spontaneous boat race. People rushed to escape. Everyone was as excited as if they were participating in an action movie. A market in China. The tornado suddenly struck, and the scene instantly turned into a parachute party floating in the sky. Surely this is a day that people here will remember forever. What an impressive umbrella tornado. Oh my God! A dramatic landslide like in a Hollywood action movie. Our brave driver, like a hero, promptly discovered and stopped the car. Look at the scene of rocks falling like flowing water. If he hadn't stopped in time, we would have had a horrifying story to tell in the future. We invite everyone to admire a horrifying scene. Violent lightning, like the wrath of God Thor, continuously struck the ground. They not only shook the space, but also destroyed the surrounding trees. Really, if you stay here, you will feel the extremely terrifying power of nature. Look at them! The ice balls seem to be sparkling in the sunlight, creating a magical scene. Looking at the white balls floating on the lake and everyone having fun is truly wonderful. A strangely peaceful and joyful scene. It's wonderful when we witness white snowflakes blooming in the middle of a frozen lake, a scene that is both magical and poetic. Let's enjoy this beautiful moment. On the vast ocean, a ship is struggling against the terrible power of the sea. Violent waves and stormy winds constantly attacked, forcing the entire crew to struggle. Oh my God. This scene really makes us unable to take our eyes off. Please leave a comment below this video to share your thoughts about the bravery of the crew and the power of nature. It's amazing to see these creatures sense danger and quickly leave to find a safer place. This is a clear demonstration of nature's sensitivity and excellent survival ability. The paradise in the distance with blue ice blocks gradually breaking and collapsing is a scene that is both majestic and heartbreaking. This beautiful sea surface is a testament to the dramatic changes of nature. Penguin colonies face ice sheet collapse during their migration journey. Confusion and loss are evident in every step they take. A story of nature's resilience and struggle. Share your thoughts about this moment and leave a comment below the video. After the rain, a rainbow appeared with beautiful colors, creating a scene of magic and hope. Have you ever witnessed a rainbow after rain? The sight of giant blocks of ice melting from the river, creating a swift current that destroys everything in its path, truly amazes and terrifies viewers. Imagine the majesty and harshness of nature clearly shown through these films. Looking at the ocean waves amidst this beautiful sunset is unmatched. Terrifying close-up shots of a terrible tornado, clearly showing the extent of nature's ferocious destruction. Look at the debris flying in the air, as if everything is being swept away with great force and violence. Oh God, everything seems to be slowing down before our eyes. Wow, that's amazing! A humpback whale jumped gracefully out of the water like a professional dancer. Its movements truly fascinate everyone. A snowstorm covered New York, turning the entire city into pure white. The roads, houses, and vehicles are all covered with a thick layer of snow, creating a truly enchanting scene. Oh no, my car is now just a pile of snow. Have you ever been in this situation? Well, what should I do with it now? Wildfire disaster in Madison County. The fire burned strongly, and the intense heat of the fire caused terrible destruction. The rescue team is making every effort to save this precious forest. Wow, what an amazing race between a fast ostrich and a fast car. Oh my God! The fields of weeds have fallen. The once peaceful road has now become chaotic and crazy, making everyone feel helpless. Houses completely invaded by dry weeds give off an indescribable feeling of helplessness. The majestic scene of the night sky, when lightning flashes, signaling a fierce storm is coming. Those dazzling flashes of light are not only a sign of natural change, but also a reminder of the immeasurable power of nature. A strange natural phenomenon. The coast is covered with sea foam after the remnants of a tropical region. This scene made people surprised and somewhat confused when cars and houses were hidden under a layer of white foam. Join us to discover the causes and effects of this phenomenon. In a scene filled with joy and laughter, the girls were happily playing in a pile of sponges. Crisp laughter and excitement were clearly visible on their faces. You are admiring an image of a mighty ship passing through the Corinth Canal, which is known as the narrowest canal in the world. Lost in the forest, I was fascinated by the magical beauty of glowing mushrooms. They shine in the dark, turning the night into a mysterious and enchanting world. If you are as fascinated and captivated as me, please leave a comment below this video. Do you dare sit behind him? This car will bring a new feeling. It will definitely be very interesting. Are you wondering if he's scared? No problem. He is extremely passionate about this new game. Wow, look. He was playing in the ocean waves and the sight was amazing. It seems like he is experiencing a sense of freedom while immersing himself in the vast ocean. Hey guys, let's admire the moment snow geese rule the skies in Skagit Valley. These geese fly around as if they are holding an aerial art show. This majestic and overwhelming sight will definitely make you unable to take your eyes off the screen. How terrible. Terrifying images from Oman show how the devastating storm not only flooded roads, but also completely paralyzed traffic. Rising floodwaters have forced many people to evacuate in panic. Share your feelings and send encouragement to those affected below this video. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a vast space. Suddenly a stormy train comes, crashing into a thick wall of dust. This is an experience not to be missed. The video will leave you breathless from start to finish. The peaceful village was suddenly submerged in a terrible flood. Torrential streams of water rushed in, sweeping away everything in its path. Please pray for them together and share your feelings about this video. In an unexpected moment, a violent tornado suddenly attacked the cars stopped at the red light. Luckily, no casualties occurred during this event. A tornado suddenly hit the clinic in the middle of the night. Everything was destroyed. Fortunately, no one was there at the time of the incident. These images are unbelievable, how devastating nature can be. Let's pray for everyone's safety and hope this never happens again. Mother Nature's wrath. Tornadoes destroy everything in their path. Witness nature's fury with terrible tornadoes that are destroying everything in its path. Houses were torn apart, trees were uprooted, and everything was in chaos. These are images that no one wants to witness, but are also a reminder of the terrible power of nature. The recent terrible storm has mercilessly devastated the houses that were once a safe haven. Now only scattered fragments remain. Trees, which are symbols of life and resilience, were blown down by the fury of wind and rain. The scene of lightning exploding and lighting up the entire sky was captured by a car camera in the most realistic and vivid way. Dust tornado. Yes, you heard right. From seemingly harmless small dust particles, a tornado was formed and created an amazing performance between earth and sky. A house was swept away by floodwaters. In an instant, many of the family's dreams and memories disappeared into the raging waters. This is a serious warning about the power of nature. A breathtaking sight just recorded by people. A powerful tornado is sucking water from the ground, creating a giant, powerful rotating column of water. Violent floodwaters swept 2 people into a whirlpool in China. In the midst of a near disaster, the rescue team fought fiercely and successfully brought them back to shore. A dangerous but extremely lucky safe situation. We are witnessing an unprecedented tragedy in Pakistan. Millions of innocent people had to evacuate, leaving behind their beloved homes, precious cars, and all their possessions were swept away, submerged in the harsh sea of water. This scene is so heartbreaking and tragic. The video released on July 4th depicts a building collapsing amid floodwaters in Central America due to a flood. A truck was crushed by a large rock rolling down, dragging the entire vehicle into the abyss. This scene shocked and heartbroken many witnesses. Southern Germany is experiencing a serious flood disaster due to heavy rain. Water rose, flooding many houses and disrupting traffic. Rescuers are doing their best to help those trapped. Severe flooding caused by heavy rains hit the island of Miguel in northern Portugal on June 3rd. The year 2024 has witnessed historic floods everywhere. Streets were submerged in rising floodwaters, and rivers with prolonged floods not only caused heavy damage to property, but also threatened the lives of millions of people. Let's join hands, enhance solidarity, protect family and community. Before our eyes is an unbelievable sight. A powerful flood, like a wild animal hunting its prey, rushed in. Just recently this river was dry, but now it has turned into an extremely dangerous, fast-flowing river. Luckily for a group of people nearby, they discovered it in time and ran out to escape. An extremely tense situation is taking place in Brazil. Prolonged heavy rain has caused widespread flooding, causing severe damage to homes, vehicles, and transportation infrastructure. The terrible scene when floodwaters swept away everything in its path. People are facing unprecedented difficulties and immeasurable pain and loss. A road was severely damaged due to a heavy rain causing a landslide. A tsunami suddenly hit Greenland, washing away working fishermen. Just a few minutes later, their boat was swept up by huge waves with the terrible force of the sea, forcing them to flee in terror. This scene was recorded and broadcast. It was unbelievable to see what happened. Tsunami devastated and submerged vehicles in Riverside, but fortunately everyone was evacuated. A tornado formed and struck passers-by in Thailand. Luckily, there were no injuries. A large wave suddenly attacked a house, causing 2 people outside to be knocked inside while the door was destroyed. Water flooded in, turning the house into a sea of water, damaging electronic devices. This horrifying scene of panic and destruction was like something out of a disaster movie. A terrifyingly strong tornado tore through eastern Colorado, wreaking havoc and shattering many homes in the... This afternoon, Panang Island experienced an unprecedented event. A giant wave suddenly appeared, bringing strong winds, violently attacking a hotel on the island. The images and videos recorded by people are truly shocking and horrifying. A brave man stood tall in the middle of a raging tornado to capture horrifying images. Unafraid of danger, he turned fear into strength, turning the tornado into a backdrop for his extraordinary courage. A sudden tornado hits an outdoor party, sending flames and dust flying into the air, creating an unbelievable scene. Can you imagine flames and dust floating in the air, then falling like a brilliant, colorful, and magical fireworks display? The dust storm at Burning Man created a dramatic and awe-inspiring scene. The sight of 3 water sprouts from the Gulf of Mexico forms a unique and mesmerizing shape. A forest that was once lush and green is now desolate and desolate after a terrible storm passed. The ancient trees have been knocked down. Their vibrant foliage is now scattered on the ground, leaving a lonely and cold space. An extremely strong wind suddenly attacked a parking lot, causing terrible destruction. The cars were heavily damaged, and many large trees were knocked down mercilessly. Imagine the formidable force of the wind, blowing away everything in sight, leaving behind a scene of chaos and destruction. This is truly a scary event. making us shocked and worried about everyone's safety. An extremely unexpected and dramatic development happened on a highway. A powerful sandstorm suddenly struck, causing visibility to plummet and traffic to completely paralyze. The scene became chaotic. People were confused and worried when they could not move. The fearsome storm has swept through, bringing with it destructive power. Trees, strong natural pillars, could not withstand and collapsed before the hurricane. A strong wave suddenly hit a small coastal village, plunging the whole area into panic. People here had to leave everything behind and flee in extreme fear. Screams, worried looks, and panic covered the entire village. We can feel the fear, the helplessness before the involuntary power of nature. An extremely terrible hailstorm was just recorded by local people. Fist-sized rocks fell like rain, creating an unbelievable scene. Sandstorm strikes a city image recorded on a plane. Powerful storms are moving into Arizona City this evening. This storm promises to bring heavy rains throughout the night, creating a scene that is both majestic and dangerous. A severe storm with strong winds and hail has hit Arizona, causing severe damage. Imagine, a man was faced with the terrible scene of seeing his house completely destroyed. The hail was as big as bullets. The wind was as strong as a hurricane. Everything in his house was severely damaged. A heavy rain suddenly came, flooding a subway. The scene was truly horrifying as the passengers inside the train began to feel anxious and panicked. The water poured in quickly, making it unpredictable for everyone. We are witnessing an extremely tense and dangerous situation in Aranga del Rey, Madrid. Violent floodwaters, caused by devastating hailstorms, rose and swept away a series of vehicles on the streets. The situation is truly alarming, as the fast-flowing water continuously carries away everything in its path. A lucky driver narrowly escaped danger when trees fell around him. Imagine the heart-stopping feeling when you see large tree trunks falling down right before your eyes. But with agility and calmness, you promptly dodge and escape. The ice dam has broken, and the huge stream of water is rushing into the bridge with terrifying force. The waves were fierce and powerful, as if they wanted to wash away everything in their path. A dam has just been destroyed by the ferocious power of floodwaters. Strong streams of water are pouring downstream. The people below are panicking and extremely worried. The man saw something strange and just wanted to run away when danger happened. A giant iceberg is drifting and causing terrible destruction wherever it touches. This is not only a threat, but also an important warning for everyone. On a normal morning, no one would have expected floodwaters to suddenly attack the construction site in just a few seconds. The scene was dramatic and full of tension as floodwaters rushed in, submerging the entire construction site in a sea of water in just a split second. Fortunately, no one was injured in this incident. However, that terrifying scene will forever be imprinted in the memories of those who witnessed it. A powerful tornado just swept through, completely destroying the wind power pole. Towering electric poles now lie collapsed, crumbling under the destructive force of nature. Emerged in a sea of mothwater. People are confused and worried because they do not know how to escape this difficult situation. But most worrying of all, tourists present in Hajiang are locked and cannot change direction. They faced a scene of chaos, not knowing how to return safely. A man in the rescue team did not hesitate and rushed into the rushing floodwaters, determined to save a woman who was being swept away by the water. With quick thinking and courage, he brought the woman out. Death scythe. Right now, a horrifying scene is taking place. A giant tornado is roaring from the ocean towards the shore, attacking a beachside hotel. Can the hotel withstand the irresistible force of nature? A house was completely eroded into the river. No one can imagine the devastation and pain this family endured. This scene was not only a material loss, but also a huge mental shock. In just a split second, a house was partially swept away by a landslide. This heartbreaking scene makes us unable to help, but feel sad. Harsh natural disasters have robbed them of peace. A large mountain had partially collapsed onto the road, causing an extremely horrifying scene. Chunks of rock and soil poured onto the road as if wanting to swallow everything in their path. Be very careful. Stay away from dangerous areas. Lightning struck a car on the road. Fortunately, there were no casualties. A passenger bus carrying dozens of people tried to cross the fierce floodwaters and overturned. Luckily, all passengers miraculously escaped in time. This is a breathtaking moment, reminding us of the dangers of nature and the importance of caution. A newly built building in Malaysia was completely destroyed after a terrible earthquake. The scene was truly chaotic and scary as people panicked and fled to safety, trying to protect their lives. This road, once a lifeline connecting communities, has now been completely destroyed after a devastating earthquake. Repairing this road will require a lot of time and effort. The water is rising rapidly. The tense and dangerous scene caused even the bravest men to seek shelter. We witness the strength of nature and the courage of humans. Terrifying floods devastated Pakistan, breaking more than 40 small dams and causing 210 bridges to completely collapse. But the most heartbreaking thing is that up to 10 million people had to relocate, losing their homes and properties. Impressive video captures ice flowing on the Yen River in Krai, Russia. Under the harsh weather and location near the North Pole, giant icebergs move, creating a majestic and emotional scene. In just a few minutes, a shallow stream becomes a strong flowing river. Even trucks weighing more than 15 tons cannot withstand the strong winds, causing them to overturn in a horrifying manner. Imagine, the fury of nature can turn giant vehicles into toys that can easily be pushed over. The image of houses being swallowed whole by floodwaters, like a hungry wolf, truly makes us heartbroken. The consequences of this disaster were great losses for the people. We cannot imagine the pain they must endure, when everything they were attached to and loved was swept away in the raging waters. for this man, there was a barrier that saved him from the floodwaters. On June 4, 2024, a heavy rain suddenly fell on Maharashtra, India, causing serious flooding as the water rushed through, sweeping away everything in its path. People here are facing countless difficulties, from flooded houses, damaged vehicles, and making traveling extremely difficult. Images of heavily destroyed roads make people's hearts cannot help but feel sad. This is truly a fierce challenge, requiring the resilience and solidarity of the community to overcome. A giant sinkhole suddenly appeared right on a highway, completely paralyzing traffic in this area. Luckily, at the time of the incident, no vehicles were moving around, avoiding a serious accident. A giant sinkhole appeared and swallowed a car like a predatory snake. In the blink of an eye, the car completely disappeared without leaving a trace. A horrifying scene just took place in a riverside village. The houses, the homes of many families, are being swept away by the fierce current. Be careful when building a house to ensure your safety. Two men were passionately catching fish in a small boat in the middle of the lake, and suddenly their boat was sucked into a bottomless hole. A breathtaking and scary moment, fortunately, rescue time arrived, saving two people from a dangerous situation. A violent tornado appeared near Dodge City, USA. In that tornado, the sky darkened and the space was covered in gloomy black. In the midst of that horrifying scene, a passerby promptly recorded haunting images. Their camera captured the entire moment the tornado emerged, swirling furiously in the darkness. A scene of devastation after a terrible tornado. Trees fell, houses turned into ruins. The scene was heartbreaking. The tornado not only swept away the property, but also took away the faith and hope of many people. The moment a bridge over a river in Brazil collapsed, broke in half, and then completely disappeared into the fast-flowing water, many locals were scared. The unusually high tide has caused people to panic and run for safety. Hundreds of people are racing against time, looking for a safe place. Very lucky for this man when he underestimated the floodwater and tried to cross it. Unfortunately, his car overturned. Luck smiled on him. Heavy cars are being swept away by floodwaters extremely strongly. The water rushed like an uncontrollable monster, swallowing everything in its path. A man is fighting for his life as he tries to escape his car before it is swept away by floodwaters. But fortunately, with strength and strong will, he successfully escaped. Typhoon Malav No. 9 silently attacked Hong Kong with a terrifying force, leaving everyone shaken. In what was a dramatic and tense moment, it was a miracle that there were no reported injuries. We are truly lucky to face the devastation of nature this time. The passers-by faced a strong and challenging wind. The passers-by were caught in a fierce wind, forcing them to brace themselves and make every effort to overcome each step. Everyone was tense. His feet took each heavy step, trying not to be pushed back. The revolving door of a hotel was blown by the wind and turned as fast as a propeller. The sight of floods inundating old courtesans falling in Tamil Nadu, India, forced many people to flee in terror from the coming cataclysm. A sudden flash flood hit WBA Australia, sweeping away cars and turning a small stream into a torrent in just a few minutes. The cruel force of nature has engulfed everything, endangering many lives. This is a warning about the harshness of nature that we cannot take lightly. A wave filled with foam hits the shore and people feel excited and experienced. A serious landslide caused an entire mountain to collapse onto the road below. Fortunately, at that time, no one was present near this area. Luckily for these people, they were warned early. Half the road was swept into the abyss by a terrible landslide. This scene is like a realistic nightmare, when everything around suddenly disappears into nothingness. A family's room shook violently due to a sudden earthquake. In that terrifying moment, everything turned upside down and furniture fell. The road was severely damaged, with many large cracks caused by the impact. A tornado suddenly appeared, attacking those present on the sand. Brightly colored umbrellas. Hello everyone, I am Quan, the editor of today's program. Thank you for watching this video summarizing the most terrible natural disasters. Through these images, we see more clearly the power of nature and the importance of protecting our living environment. If you find this video useful and want to update more interesting and useful videos, please Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In recent years, natural disasters such as storms and forest fires have increased, exposing them to the biggest challenges of climate change. Solving this problem has never been more urgent. Join us to dig deeper into this important issue and join hands to protect our fragile work. The remaining life on Earth depends on our actions right now. Take action for your own future and that of future generations. Large hailstorm in Turin, Italy destroyed hundreds of houses were destroyed by extremely strong hail. What happens when even the sturdiest things succumb to the powerful? Please imagine that scene. Trees are uprooted, houses are torn apart, and visible structures are swept away by the wind and destroyed. Ruined cities in Japan are preparing to withstand the onslaught of Typhoon Jebi, which the entire region is feeling. Serious attack. With terrifying power, threatening the lives and property of millions of people, in the state of Louisiana, a natural disaster occurred. Storm Ida with huge power swept through here. Houses were crushed, families lost their shelter, desolate and devastated landscapes were everywhere. At first it was just a passing shower, but soon the rain started. The rain began to intensify, leading to flooding in a short period of time. The scene was horrifying as the house was swept away, crashed into the bridge and shattered into pieces. These images serve as a gentle reminder of the destructive power of nature. We are witnessing the horrific tragedy in Louisiana, where the raging floodwaters hit hard, washing away everything in its path. This bridge also suffers the fate of floating with the water. A tornado hit China, causing massive destruction. This tornado not only damaged facilities, but also brought hail, increasing disinfection ability to its peak. With its power and ferocity, this tornado created unexpected consequences, leaving many people in shock and pain at the loss. This is truly a horrifying natural disaster, reminding us of the unpredictable power of Mother Nature. A truck was hit by a powerful tornado. The scene was truly desolate and terrifying. However, a miracle happened when all the people in the car were fortunately safe. A large sinkhole suddenly appeared on the road after the rain. A heavy rain accompanied by a tornado suddenly invaded and swept through a small house. The image before our eyes is terrifying, as the tornado destroys everything in its path. Nature's fury is not only a harsh test, but also a reminder of human fragility. Get a stunning view of the erupting Popocatépetl volcano as seen from an airplane. A terrible scene when the strong current swallowed the houses into the ferocious river. No one could have imagined that in the blink of an eye, the lives and property of countless people would be swept away by the current. Large blocks of rock are rushing straight down, creating resounding sounds. Everything happened so fast, so unexpected. The group of people at the foot of the mountain discovered the danger and were running frantically. A car is being carried by the current. Inside, there is a man crying out for love. While escaping, he broke through the window and escaped, struggling with the gravity current. It was truly a calculated and emotional escape. Looking at this scene is so scary. Look, the streets have turned into rivers as the rains continue to pour down, and cars are now like boats submerged in water. Look at the water rushing over and destroying the bridge. Pieces of the bridge were swept away in the fury of nature. A man tried to cross the floodwaters by car but was swept away. While dealing with danger, he bravely clung to surrounding objects and was lucky to escape. This is an unforgettable run. Fast-flowing floodwaters, including rocks and soil, caused the car to get stuck. The small houses, which have been solid through many stormy seasons, are now like weak pearls before nature's internal storms. Floodwaters submerged the city. The warning was scary, as vehicles were paralyzed and people had to struggle with the rushing water. The rescue team is working tirelessly. Rescue boats are racing against time to reach and help stranded people. The scene is truly terrible. Floodwaters swept away everything on the road. Cars were used by girls as toys before the strengthening power of nature. An extremely terrible scene in this coastal village. Powerful waves pound the shore, creating igneous rocks as high as mountains, threatening to wash away everything in their path. But the most worrying thing is that some people are still not in danger. They try to stand close, film, play, and take pictures. In the brightest moments, these fierce waves can sweep them away at any time. Let's pray for their safety and hope that they will quickly realize the danger and leave out of this area. A tense scene is taking place before our eyes. The sky darkened momentarily, signaling an impending natural disaster. In less than a minute, the strong tornado succeeded, carrying extremely strong winds. This tornado was moving towards a house. The whirlwinds had fallen a series of trees in the angel's path. A tornado just hit. Imagine the horrifying scene when advertising signs burn, fire, and pine trees are smashed, blown away and dragged hundreds of meters. The solid floors that we once saw have now become desolate, transitioning in the blink of an eye. The destructive power of nature is terrifying. Everyone, please be careful and listen to announcements from authorities to ensure the safety of yourself and your family. We are witnessing an extraordinary and terrifying natural phenomenon. On the horizon, a menacing, swirling black cloud is forming, heralding the birth of a powerful tornado. Just minutes ago, this powerful tornado touched down on an industrial plant, sucks machinery and debris into the air. To make matters worse, this storm was also accompanied by intense hail, causing unprecedented damage. I have the thought that what if we get caught up in it? A gas station was passed by a tornado. Outside, strong winds limited visibility horribly. A devastating tornado struck a factory, ripping off roofs and hurling them into the sky. Workers captured the massive destruction on video, showing the true extent of the damage. This is an extremely dangerous situation with many major losses. The tornado is leaving a trail of destruction in its path. Everything in its path was damaged and swept away, thrown hundreds of meters from where they stood. The scale of destruction is truly astonishing. I feel how he feels right now. The scene was horrifying. With the tremendous wind speed, the trees seemed insignificant before the force of the tornado. Nearly all of them were uprooted and broken by the sheer force of nature. The power of this storm was astonishing and devastating. The scene was horrifying. With the tremendous wind speed, the trees seemed insignificant before the force of the tornado. Nearly all of them were uprooted and broken by the sheer force of nature. The power of this storm was astonishing and devastating. The tornado's majesty attracted storm chasers eager to witness its raw power. While these thrill-seekers captured the awe-inspiring spectacle, they also had to prioritize their safety amid the chaos. The danger is real and imminent.
Hello, I am Mr. Kwan, the host for Moments of Rage channel. Channel reminds us of our responsibility.
Passengers brought life jackets or not, but it was definitely an experience. The water was flowing rapidly as if someone had just opened a giant water valve from the sky. In a breathtaking moment amid harsh nature, a man was swept away by raging floodwaters. However, in a moment of danger, 3 heroes appeared and promptly pulled him back to safety. A man, unable to withstand the furious force of nature, was thrown far away by the sky-high waves of Typhoon Kiran. The men in this village are having to flee from the floodwaters that suddenly flooded in, bringing with them terrible destructive power. A man's engine broke down while trying to cross floodwaters and is in danger. Luckily, a group of brave people rushed to help him. We are witnessing brave people overcoming the fierce flood without showing any fear. Resilient faces, strong footsteps. A massive flood has hit Japan, washing away everything in its path. Right here, a house was swept away, while people were still trapped inside. People trapped in houses being swept away by water are being rescued by rescue teams by helicopter. The bravery of the rescue workers was amazing. They are doing their best to get each person out of the house safely. A road was completely destroyed by massive floodwaters. Thanks to timely warnings, everyone was safely evacuated. But it is impossible to deny the terrible devastation this natural disaster caused. The road, which was originally a bustling traffic area, now only remains of debris and destruction. Man is fighting endlessly with the power of nature. During a fierce rainstorm, he devoted all his strength to protect his valuable assets. The peaceful house that many generations have lived in is now gradually being swept away by the fierce flood. In extreme helplessness, the house seemed to scream in silence. Each piece of wood, each brick seemed to break apart in the water. All efforts to save them became hopeless before the brutality of nature. A fierce thunderstorm just swept through. Strong winds broke power lines and caused widespread power outages. A man tries to cross a small bridge amid fast-flowing water, Oh my God, that was a risky decision. Suddenly he lost his balance and was swept away in the raging current. In Colorado, USA, thousands of people are trapped in the middle of a sea of floodwaters, with no way out. Many houses have sunk deep into the water, and the lives of people here are being horribly turned upside down. The tree fell with terrifying force, hitting the house directly in front of it. In the blink of an eye, the house was completely destroyed. A powerful tornado is attacking a building, sweeping everything high. Debris and furniture are being swept into a violent vortex. Nothing can stop this destructive power. A terrible tornado suddenly appeared and attacked a green forest, turning the place into a scene of desolation and ruin. Nature's fury descended without warning. Desolate scene after a strong storm hit a paper company factory in China. The dramatic landslide scene that had just occurred caused many people to panic and flee. Fortunately, no casualties were recorded. Indeed, this is a powerful reminder of how dangerous and unpredictable nature can be. The scene of a tornado appearing before your eyes at night looks like a demon. Amid the rushing floodwaters, the little dog seemed to have lost all hope. But at that moment, a team of brave workers appeared. With great determination and skill, they used a crane to reach and safely rescue the dog. Both the team and the dog returned to the arms of peace. Cars were swept away by floodwaters and stuck in piles after the flood passed. The cars, precious assets of many families, are now just lifeless piles of rubble. In Syria, the fierce storm suddenly struck, bringing with it horrifying flash floods, washing away everything in its path on June 8th. People here are facing an unprecedented disaster. The image is unbelievable. A solid iron bridge, once considered a symbol of sustainability and safety, was easily swept away by floodwaters. The fierce, constantly rushing water streams broke all barriers and swept away the bridge in an instant. Waves tens of meters high like fierce sea monsters attacked a stretch of highway, turning travel into a horrifying nightmare. In the middle of the vast river, a giant sinkhole suddenly appeared, causing the entire water flow to be sucked out in just a few seconds. The water receded like lightning, leaving a vast void. A terrible tornado has suddenly formed from the sea and is violently attacking the mainland, where there are many tourists. When the fierce whirlwinds blow away everything in its path, floodwaters destroyed a bridge in just a few seconds, causing traffic to be cut off. In China, a strong earthquake caused a landslide, causing buildings to collapse in the blink of an eye. Panic-stricken people felt the violent shaking and were in an extremely dangerous situation. A terrible noise rang out. Everyone was trying to find a safe place. A huge sandstorm, like a hungry demon, was heading straight towards the small town in the middle of the desert. The winds howled, carrying billowing sand and dust, engulfing everything in sight. A terrifying incident occurred at sea when a tourist boat capsized due to large waves. In that moment of life and death, fortunately, everyone on the boat escaped and was waiting to be rescued. Big waves are violently hitting the side of the cargo ship. The boat is swaying and swaying as if it wants to be submerged by the terrible power of the sea. Fierce storm winds swept through, making even the sturdy ancient trees unable to stand. The scene was like a brutal battle between nature and the resilience of the trees. Large rocks fell from the sky with terrible force, mercilessly destroying power lines and vehicles. The scene was truly overwhelming, like a scene from a disaster movie. We just witnessed an unbelievable situation when a strange object fell into the lake from above. Just as lightning flashed across the sky, a deafening explosion rang out. Just a few minutes ago, the scene was peaceful, calm, without the slightest sign of anything out of the ordinary. But then, suddenly like a nightmare, the strong wind came, destroying everything in its path. Trees were uprooted and fell. The peaceful scene became a chaotic battlefield. Raging tornadoes swept away everything in their path, leaving nothing but devastation and ruin. Houses were torn apart, trees were uprooted, and life seemed to be swept away in nature's fury. We cannot forget this image, a vivid testament to the terrible, destructive power of natural disasters. This is a painful reminder of human insignificance before the power of nature. In this short video, we see the power of nature when the wind is strong enough to knock down strong trees in just a few seconds. This reminds us of human smallness and weakness before the invisible power of nature. Scene of devastation after the destruction of the tornado. The sturdy chimney columns suddenly collapsed, creating a horrifying and dramatic scene. The MC's eyes now contained surprise at the unexpected incident. The event raised many questions and concerns about the cause and consequences of the incident, making the atmosphere tense and impose. No one expected the new wooden house to collapse because of such a strong wind, the sudden force of nature, and the ease with which things can be turned around in the blink of an eye. Seeing the building crumble, I couldn't believe what was happening. A desperate display of the forces of nature. Huge concrete columns lie motionless amid the rubble. The volcanic eruption created a terrifying scene with huge columns of smoke hundreds of meters high. It is not only a powerful natural phenomenon, but also a manifestation of the ultimate power of nature. The cars below were damaged after this landslide. Heavy rain flooded a parking lot, causing many vehicles to be seriously damaged. Landslide statue, horrifying and heart-stopping. The people fled, but I stood there like a nail, filled with fear for their fate. At an outdoor wedding, a tornado suddenly made landfall, tearing through the ceremony and causing chaos. The wedding halls were blown away, leaving only a situation of war.
Hello, I am Mr. Kwan, the host for Moments of Rage channel. Channel reminds us of our responsibility to protect the environment. Take action today to protect our green planet. Engage in solid action to reduce carbon emissions and improve recognition. We can build a greener and stronger future. If you find it interesting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click follow to spread the information.